Welcome to Coach and Company, presented by Code 3, now streaming.
All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast here every single weekday to support the morning show. If you miss any of Rant Wednesday today, I encourage you to go back and watch it on our Coach and Company YouTube page while you are there. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, like, and share the show. Now, busy day here at the Brand Morning Show. Awesome. We also hear the podcast around 11:15 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern every single day. And then 2 to 4 Eastern time on channel 156. It is Off the Ropes with the Coach. And then tonight, for the second night in a row, we will have a premium pop-up show. Last night, my guy Mikey P nearly swept the board on all of his picks, 9 out of 10. And speaking of my guy, he joins me once again today. And I had a big meeting in LA last night. I was at a dinner, and then I'm driving home, and my phone's just lighting up with your picks and your plays. And when we're playing Western Kentucky first quarter live plays, we've really gone down a rabbit hole. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Actually, the chat and I, and thank you to the chat queen for coining this term, we were the king of the Hilltoppers last night because everyone was cashing on Western Kentucky last night.
Oh, my God. And that line has never been said before in real time. All right, so if you're new to our podcast, we like to dive into 2 or 3 topics. Normally, we're not even talking betting because we love sports as much, if not more, than the betting component. So this story number 1, Mikey, just came out a few minutes ago. And I thought it was a dumb idea when the NFL said they were going to allow flag football in the Olympics. Because every time there's been a big flag football game, there's been a dislocated knee, a torn ACL, something bad. So now the NFL is taking it a step further, and they have said that this year they will be moving the Pro Bowl game, which is now flag, to the week of the Super Bowl to help put an emphasis and a focus on what's coming up in the Olympics, so then we can get a lot of attention on it. What do you make of this story?
Well, nothing showcases the Super Bowl like all the top superstars that didn't make it, right? Like, let's just have them play on Tuesday. I don't understand this. And, Coach, it's my opinion and only my opinion, and I might be the minority here, but I believe that this will not last long. I'm not talking about flag football in the Olympics. I'm talking in general, seeing NFL players compete, whether it be in Saudi or the Olympics or wherever it may be in flag football. It's going to take one injury to one superstar for the NFL to just say it was fun while it lasted.
I agree with that part. Where I think that it will continue is the likes of the Tom Brady situation. He's getting $75 million to go play flag football for 1 week. So you could take out Saquon Barkley and insert a player who retired a year ago, and it could turn into retired players that, as long as they're big stars, I don't think Saudi's going to object. Because one thing that I know about Saudi Arabia is they do not give a damn about any of the stories going on here in the United States. I was in the WWE 7 years ago when the whole Hulk Hogan situation happened. And they wanted Hulk Hogan on the first show. And damn it, they figured out a way to get Hulk Hogan on the first show. There's some big-time paydays coming up for some former legends. And now apparently the NFL is going to line those guys up too. And if they do that, there's not much we can do about it.
No, I agree. But let's make sure, and you're right, the Saudis will get the big superstars, but let's make sure we're showcasing the right superstars. I don't need Antonio Brown playing flag football, even though it's flag football. Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, like those are the guys. Let's kind of have some nostalgia. We understand Tom Brady is a brand within himself, but let's get some nostalgia and see somebody. You don't want to see Troy Polamalu out there trying to not break a hip at 50 years old? I would love that. So I think we get the right superstars. We can build our fan bases, get one legend from every team, and really build it that way.
I would love to see in this whole scenario is a little honesty. Because when Tom Brady is standing there next to his excellence, who I love his excellence. His excellence loves sports. And if I had an account that had $500 billion in it, guess what I'm going to do, Mikey? I'm going to play with all my friends because I bought them to play with all of my friends. It would be like, what was the movie where they bring all the friends over, the rich kid? Richie Rich. remember the Richie Rich where they paid the kids to come and play baseball with him? That's exactly what I would do. But if I'm Tom Brady and I'm standing there, wouldn't it have been awesome if he would have been like, listen, we've gathered here today. I appreciate you guys coming to Las Vegas and this announcement. And I just want to be honest with you. He's paying me 75 mil, 75 large, and I will be in Saudi Arabia leading my team. But it's all about the money for me. His Excellence, can you imagine if he would have said that and how great that? Because that's what it is. You think Tom Brady's going all the way to Saudi Arabia if not for the check that he's getting? Of course not.
What's the saying? How does it go? Things that are understood don't need to be explained. So I think that's the only reason why we don't get that. As soon as you say, with all due respect, X superstar or this superstar in this sport is going to do something in Saudi, you're like, yeah, it's a paycheck.
I want to know how much the other guys are getting, because if I'm Saquon and I just signed the biggest contract per year for running backs, how much is it worth to me if I'm Saquon to go and risk an injury playing flag football in Saudi Arabia? Because what's going to happen if he gets hurt is they're going to nullify his contract with the NFL, so that 36 million or whatever he'll have left on it, I think probably 19 by then, that's going away. So whatever they're paying him over there has to cover what he's going to lose here. And I don't think that's something that a lot of fans are thinking about. So I would assume that Saquon is probably getting 40 or 50 million to go play.
I hate to say it, Coach. I really hope there's no snap counts in these flag football Saudi games, but that is a very real possibility of, hey, I'd rather show face, play 3 or 4 snaps, and then get out of there. I thank you for your paycheck. I'm here. I arrived. I sold some tickets. Now I have to honor my NFL contract. So I feel like it could be a very tricky situation as well.
It really, really, really could be. That's topic number one. Speaking of tricky situation, let's go to college basketball. We touched on a little bit on the morning show, but the one thing I've always appreciated about Tom Izzo is that he is such an OG. He's at an age where if he got fired, he would be fine. He's made so much money. He's become kind of the voice. He's kind of the Nick Saban of college basketball. So when this came out the last couple of days, I couldn't believe it was true. And then you do a little digging, and then Tom Izzo comes out, and it absolutely is true. The NCAA, they're probably a few years away from being non-existent, because all these powerful people at all these colleges are going to realize that whoever runs the NCAA are absolutely clueless right now. The transfer portal, they can't figure that out. How many times you can't figure that out? NIL, they allow the Wild West. They've done nothing the last 2 or 3 years to wrangle this thing in. And now the NCAA in basketball, allowing a player that's played 3 seasons in the G League, a professional league that at any point he could have got called up to an NBA team, because that's the minor leagues that people don't know. And Mikey, he now has gone back to sign with Louisville, another player from the G League signing with Santa Clara. And this now opens the door wide open for any kid to come out of college and go, I'm going to go to the G League, or out of high school and go to the G League. And then if it doesn't work out, I'm straight. I'll go back to North Carolina or Duke. I don't like it. I know we kind of differ on our opinion, but I really want your more extended take on what this could do to the college game because of these 2 players.
I think it absolutely ruined it, to be honest with you. I like the idea of going back, but just as we've talked about in college football, let's put limitations on all of these rules. Let's narrow it down. You can't figure out the transfer portal. You can't figure out NIL. So, Coach, throughout the last hour, I figured out how we can fix this. If you've ever played 1 millisecond in the NBA, not eligible. I don't care if you spent 1 day in the NBA, you're not eligible. And then if you go back to college 1 season, you can get 3-4 years of education, 1 season as an eligible athlete. I don't care. Take in the experience. I don't care if you go to Santa Clara or Louisville. Some of these players in the G League will get 500 people in the crowd. You can go to a Louisville and get 10,000 people in a crowd. You can feel that excitement, and that's it. 1 year of eligibility, and if you play in the NBA, you're ineligible.
I like that a lot. I really, really. So what you're saying, if I hear you correctly, and I apologize, I got a text from one of my kids. You're saying that you're okay if they play in the G League, but if they get called up to play in the show, then that ends it all right there.
That's it. That's it. You're not allowed.
Interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of high school players that have no desire to go to a class now see this, because there's been a few, and a few have gone overseas. I mean, LaMelo Ball did it, and then he was an NBA player later on. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that probably within the next 5 years, there's going to be an entity that's probably going to be run by Nick Saban and Tom Izzo, to be honest with you, that runs all of it and makes decisions that are common sense, because it feels like a lot of these are not common sense decisions, and you got really smart people, and I would love to be in those rooms and they discuss it. I would probably bang my head against the wall, because we've seen it with this whole, oh, we may go to 96 or 78 teams in the NCAA tournament. What for? Because of the way they do it now, it's always 3 number 1 seeds at least that make the Final Four. So why are we adding teams on the back end at the beginning of the tournament? I have no idea.
I don't want to extend the conversation to something completely different, but what's wrong with failure, right? Like, let's just let players out of high school, especially in the NBA, let's let them go. If you're the NBA, you're Adam Silver, who's probably one of the more beloved commissioners in all of sports here in the United States. Just say, all right, we'll allow it. If you're 18, you finish high school, you can come to the NBA. And then when you don't pan out, hey, we gave you the opportunity. Same thing in the G League, same thing in college. Hey, he didn't pan out here. I don't understand why we have to like protect everyone and give everyone equal opportunity. If you're not cut for it, you're not cut for it.
I say it a lot, and I have a 15-year-old who is dealing with that right now, is that when you're really good at something, the failure is a farther fall for you, and it's hard to watch, especially when it's your own kid. But I say it all the time, this is not Little League. If you're playing elite sports, there's a winner and there is a loser, and the loser should not be walked up and say, hey, big dog, here's something, or you get a second chance. Because in life, how many times have we been sliced at the knees? All of us. And you've got to get back up, and nobody's coming back and say, you know what, my bad. I didn't mean to end your contract. I didn't mean to cut you from wherever. So I'm going to give you your job back. It just doesn't happen. But yet in sports, it does. And we're supposed to ride with it. So interesting. Topic number 3, NBA tonight, 12 games, a lot of good storylines. But I don't know that we've ever entered a season, Mikey, where more big names are going to be sitting in high dollar suits the entire year. There's nothing worse than getting hurt in the playoffs, especially when it's a torn ACL or something that's a year recovery. There's no Jason Tatum. There's no Tyrese Halliburton. These are 2 teams that made it deep last year. The Pacers made it all the way to the NBA Finals last year, and now they're not even one of the betting favorites in the East. Does it take any of the excitement away from you that a lot of these big name players are hurt, including LeBron James, that it's not his season, but it's still going to be a month?
As much as everyone hated the super team and the thoughts of superstars getting together, unfortunately, I'm going to go player side here. This is why it happens, right? No Jason Tatum. Well, at least there's Jaylen Brown. And I think it allows an opportunity for a guy like Derek White to step up in a Celtics uniform this season, go to the Pacers. Pascal Siakam, he's a very, very good player. Is he the cornerstone? No. Can he become a superstar? Yes. And then you have DeJounte Murray. He's out with a torn Achilles. That's Zion Williamson's team. So I think it creates opportunity for other players. We are going to miss those said superstars, but I think there's enough really good talent on these teams to still make them appointment viewing.
As I'm looking at the different conferences, and last year it was a big time narrative because all of the perceived really good teams were in the Western Conference, and it played out because the Thunder, they were the better team when they got to the finals. Do you think that is another narrative this year? Because if you look at the betting numbers, most of the best odds or the lowest odds are Western Conference teams to win it all.
I feel like this has been a narrative for 20-something years, to be honest with you. Except for the Miami Heat LeBron super team, it's been the Warriors, the Lakers, the list goes on, the Nuggets, the list goes on and on. The Western Conference has always been dominant. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about conspiracy theories, but Could the Washington Wizards get a Cooper Flagg every once in a while? No, they land on Alex Sarr while the Mavericks get Cooper Flagg and the Spurs get Victor Wembanyama. So it's just funny to me how that all works out. It seems like the East is always going to be second to the West, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it kind of does feel that way a little bit, but maybe this will be an opportunity for somebody in the Eastern Conference to step up and become a team or a player that people want to watch. A couple of other things before we get the hell out of here. Premium tonight. When you start to get to this time of the year, I jokingly call it, the Christmas season, but the World Series is going to start on Friday. NBA, NHL, college football, NFL, then college basketball starts in the next couple of weeks. Is there a hierarchy for you as far as sports are concerned, or does it feel overwhelming when you do a betting show, when you got 7 or 8 things, not to mention day soccer that we love from overseas? It just feels like a little bit overwhelming.
Well, my favorite part about being a part of this brand, Coach, and I take it very seriously each and every single day. I get to tell my better half, hey, I got work. I got work. I got to watch these 7 games because I got work. And then you come in the office and there's 9 different games going on. And the question is, how are you following all of these? Don't worry, I'm doing it.
I'm good.
I got it. So for me, it's always going to go NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, baseball, and then everything else. So football, basketball will always reign supreme in this household, and then pro over college.
It's funny because the NHL in person, I think, is the best sport in America to watch. Most fans don't go to NHL games. You've got those cult. They'll have really high attendance figures because you got those cult 20,000 fans, which are so loyal. I wish the NFL could have those cult fans like the NHL does, because when I worked in New York City, I got to go to Rangers games at Madison Square Garden. Playoff games at Madison Square Garden, there's nothing like it. The energy, the feel, the rabidness, the wins and the losses, living with it for 48 hours because they play their playoffs every other day, unlike the NBA does. So to me, the NHL, very underrated. I've just never really been able to get into it on a league-wide basis. What about you?
Very quick, funny story. I one time with a group of friends when I lived in Jersey to a Philadelphia Flyers game. Now, this could be because I was in Philly, but there was a nice young lady and her mother sitting there, and we were all talking, and she goes, "Oh, you think you know sports?" Boom, rattled off every single player on the first 3 lines of the Flyers. And the mom's sitting there like, "That's my daughter." And I'm like, I don't even know a single person you just said. So the cult following in hockey is real, and I will agree with you here. When it comes to the playoffs, there is no better sport than playoff hockey. 1 second of action can change the entire series. I love playoff hockey. I just can't get behind it all the way through.
I would have asked her, "Is your daughter single?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go."
I think I was underqualified from the beginning.
That is hilarious. Hilarious. Anything else that we are missing that we need to hit on before we get set for another premium pop-up tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time? Have I missed any of the headlines, so to speak?
No, Coach, I just have to say I love this time of the season. You say it's Christmas time. For me, every day that I can have football or basketball on my TV. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my guy, Brian Scalabrine, the best, most underrated commentator in all of sports, calling Celtics games. But I really do love this time of the year, and I do think this NBA season, we're gonna see so many new young superstars emerge, whether because of injury or whatever. I think it's gonna be a very fun time in the NBA.
All right, I do too. We're going to be here every single day talking about it. 12 games tonight with a lot of the good young stars, including Wemby and Cooper Flagg going head-to-head tonight. So we'll have a full recap tomorrow, and we'll be live betting some of these games tonight. That'll do it for now. We never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes. For my man, Mikey B, producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Coach and Company podcast. Take care.